Hey guys, and welcome back to today's video. Today's a super fun video. It's not something I do on a day-to-day basis. It's going to be a tutorial full face on this 90s grunge look. It was so fun to film, and it's so quick and easy, and you could totally make this an everyday tutorial if you wanted. Just go ahead and tweak it to however you want to wear it. And I also got all 90s vibe and put on an old denim jacket and a choker just for fun because I just thought it adds to the whole look because, well, it's the 90s, or at least it was the 90s. You know what I'm saying. So I'm going to stop chit-chatting and go ahead and jump into the tutorial because I'm so excited. Okay, to start off, I am going in with my Bozacia primer and setting spray. I'm just going to go ahead and let that dry before I go in with my Kat Von D Lock-It foundation. This stuff is awesome, and I recently just talked about it in my Best of Beauty 2016 video. As you see, I'm applying foundation all over the face. I didn't want it to be too full coverage. I wanted it to look a little bit more natural. It looks like I applied a lot, but it was pretty sheer, those dots were, so I went ahead and I just blended that out everywhere, as you normally would on a day-to-day basis. I really didn't want this to be too full coverage because in the 90s we really didn't wear too full coverage of foundation. We were still kind of experimenting with it. We had the bases down, but not the formulas like we do a few years later. And to blend this, in case I didn't mention it, it was my Real Techniques beauty blender. You can go ahead and use a beauty blender or a brush, whatever you please. And then after that, I'm going in with my MAC Press Blotting Powder, and I'm taking one of my powder brushes from my Morphe Rose Gold set, and I'm just going to apply that everywhere just to set in the foundation and just kind of give it a mattifying look because it is winter and I really don't like to have dewy skin in the winter. And this foundation and this powder work together perfectly, and I'm just going in and making sure my neck and my chin is just really blended in because I do have problems there with that. And then after that, I'm going in with a Too Faced chocolate bronzer, and I'm just going to very lightly contour my face. I'm not even going in with a real structured contour. I'm taking another brush from the Morphe Rose Gold set, and I'm just keeping this contour, the bronzer and everything just up more towards the ears. I'm not going down with it too far. I'm keeping it pretty close and natural because, like I was saying, in the 90s, we really didn't do any of this. They put mostly just blush on their cheeks. They really didn't put bronzers. After that, I'm going in with a Becca Cosmetics Jaclyn Hill's Pamplemousse, and I'm applying very heavy hot pink blush all over the cheekbones because back in the 90s, like I said, we used pretty heavy blush. I just know I could not go out of the house with just blush on without any bronzer. And as you see, I'm just going back and forth and just kind of really building that up just so I have a little extra something on my cheek. And then after this, I am going in with the Anastasia Brow Definer because what else would I go in with my pencils? This stuff is awesome, and like I keep saying, it changed the eyebrow game. And in the 90s, we had very thin eyebrows. I'm pretty sure even in the 2000s, I literally had no eyebrows. We didn't fill them in really, and we just tweezed them and waxed them off until there's literally nothing. So I'm just hardly going in, and I'm not giving it a defined shape. I'm keeping it very naturally shaped and just filling any spots I just feel it has a little bit less hair than the rest. And of course, I'm going in with my Benefit Ready Set Brow because I have to set the bad boys even though they aren't looking how they usually look. I just want to keep this as real as possible when it comes to the 90s. And this stuff is awesome. Your brows will not be going anywhere with this. I can basically not use another brow setting gel. This stuff has changed the eyebrow game, and it is completely awesome. And as you see, my natural eyebrows, they just look so natural. And after that, I'm going in with the Tarte Princess Concave palette, and I'm taking the highlighter in this palette. Highlighting was basically non-existent in the 90s. We did not highlight like we do nowadays. So this is a very light, natural highlight. I personally just wanted a little something on my face because, you know. And I just go in with that, and it's just so natural looking. This is a perfect highlighter for beginners who don't want basically sheets of metal across their face like I would. And then this is my first time actually using the Sephora Color Wonderland palette. I'm going on with that. And it was actually a pretty good palette. It had a few hits and misses, but it was my first time, and I just thought it was perfect to use for this look. And again, it's a perfect palette for beginners. I'm just going in with that base eyeshadow like I showed you, and you really don't see it on my lid. I'm just going in and just really blending it out. I'm keeping it low, but I'm just blending it out so that way when I go with the darker shadows, it just glides and it just all glides and blends so much more smooth. And then I'm going in with a lighter brown color, and I'm just going to go over the exact same spot I went over with basically that translucent color. And as you see, I'm keeping it all very low. I want this to be a very grungy look. We're not going to blend anything too high. We're basically just going to keep going over and over the same spots that we're going. We're just casually getting the colors darker and darker. We're not blending this any higher than I'm doing right now. And then as you see, I'm going in with an even darker brown after that, because like I said, we're just going to keep building these colors up. And I'm just going to go over that exact same spot, and I'm not blending up, I'm blending it more just towards the inside of my eyelid. So we are blending, we're just not blending how we normally would for a super glamorous look, because like I said, we're keeping this a very 90s grunge. And I basically just go back and forth just comparing each eye because one always looks a little bit different, and of course I'm not in my typical setup, so I'm getting used to the lighting that I was using to do my makeup in this video. And then after that I was just kind of blending it a little bit more towards the corner of the eyes. I really don't want it any color in basically the corner of the eyes. This is all the dark colors are on the outside. We're just very lightly blending it in, just very casually. It's basically non-existent going towards the corner of the eye. It's just a very smooth transition. Taking a blending brush from my Morphe Rose Gold kit, I am going in with the black shadow from the same Wonderland palette, and I'm going over the exact same shadows that I already was. Again, keeping it very low. You don't want to blend it in too close towards the center of the eye, and we're just going over the exact same shadows that we were for the rest of the look. This is just really going to give it the whole 90s grunge kind of vibe that we are going for. And I'm just going to keep going back and forth between the eyes and kind of building up the black to the desired blackness of the look. As you see, I'm just really blending it out. You don't want to blend up because that's where it's going to get kind of almost a smoky eye if we start to blend up. We're keeping it very low to really get that full grunge look. And right now I'm deciding which brush I want to use to apply my eyeshadow. It's another eyeshadow brush from the Morphe Rose Gold kit. And this part was a lot of trial and error. This did not go as planned at all for this look. In the 90s, we wore a lot of either very neutral colors or very pinky and shimmery kind of sheer eyeshadows. So I kind of wanted to combine the two, but the shadows for the pinks and purples in this palette really weren't too pigmented or good. I'm going with it's supposed to be a light pink color, but it almost looks whitish gray on my eyes. It really was not going how I wanted to. And so you see me reaching for the palette a lot. I'm honestly just picking up every pink and purple that's still kind of light and not too dark, and deciding which ones to work. They really weren't going how I wanted them to. I put a bunch of purples over the pink, and it still had almost a gray effect, and I just left it. It still had the same vibe I was going for. It just wasn't the right color scheme, but it was fine with me. The look came out just as fine. And as you see, I'm just going back and forth, and I'm really just playing around with the colors at this point. And then I'm going to go back in with that same black color, and I'm just going to apply it to the outer corners again. And at this point, once we almost run out of product, then we can begin to smudge toward the center of the eye. You don't want to go halfway past the eye, because that's really just going to kind of close up our eye. And just almost as a black sloppy mess all over. So this is just kind of get rid of that distinct line. Still there, but it's just a little bit more blended. It's not a straight line down the middle of our eye. And this really connects the look and kind of just brings it together. And then I am going to go and I'm picking up a brush from e.l.f. I really don't know which one this is. It's almost like a flat top brush. And I'm going in with that same black color that I used on the rest of my eye. And now I'm going to go ahead and kind of smoke out and smudge out the under of my eye. We're not doing anything with the waterline yet. This is all just eyeshadows underneath the waterline. And we're just going to go ahead and smudge it in. You don't want to go past the center of the eye because that would just really enclose and make our eyes look very small. We're just going to perfectly blend it up towards the center of the eye, and we're just really smoking out the outer corners. I am then going in with the Sephora black pencil liner, and I am putting this on my waterline, and this we are bringing all the way to the corner of the eye. And I'm going to do that to both of the eyes, obviously. And then we're going to go ahead and put this in our tight line as well, just to make our lashes look a little bit fuller, because I'm not going to be wearing falsies for this look. Then we're also going to go ahead and smooth the eyeliner just a little bit on the outer corners, just to really give it that whole grungy kind of look. I am then going in with the Gwen Stefani Urban Decay palette, and I'm just taking that first shade right there, and I'm just going to give it a little highlight above the brow bone, because I felt like I shadowed a little extra something, but this is a very natural looking one, and it's not too much. It just really makes the look just look a little bit softer. As you see, it's not too drastic. It just kind of finishes the look just very nicely. It makes the brows look a bit better than they did before. I am then going in with the Thick and Fast mascara by the Walgreens. It was like $2, and it's actually a pretty good mascara. We're just going to go ahead and coat the bad boys up because, like I said, we're not going to be wearing falsies because honestly, we really didn't wear falsies too often in the 90s. It was just straight up mascara. Once in a while, I had falsies. That's usually for like a special event, like an award show or maybe a day or just a very special occasion. Like I said, makeup nowadays is a lot more extravagant than it was a couple years ago. And I'm not going to be applying to the bottom lashes because in the 90s we honestly didn't put mascara down there too often. And for lipstick, I am going in with the Urban Decay Vintage Lipstick in the color Bruise. And I am just doing that very glossy lip that we saw a ton of in the 90s with these super grungy, kind of edgy looks. This is pulled very nice, and overlining really wasn't in the 90s. So I'm not going to overline my lips at all for this video, and I'm just going to follow my natural line. And it just pulls things perfectly. It just really has that whole nice vibe to it. Alright, and that was today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It's not something I film or usually recreate on a day-to-day basis, so it's just a little bit out of my comfort zone, and it was just really fun to film. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, be sure to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe somewhere down here, or I have my little mark in the corner. Not sure what side of the screen it'll be on, but please subscribe. I would appreciate if you did. I have plenty more tutorials and videos and reviews coming your way. And I think that is it for this video. So, peace out, Girl Scouts.